All right, well, I guess this is the first episode of this. John, Spark Report.
Yeah, what's going on? John W. Davis. This is the Spark Report. What's good, Pavy?
What's up, man? I actually super rock with the name, and the Spark Report is.
I love it.
You came up with that. I can't take credit for that. That's
Thank you.
But that was dope. That was dope name. It feels like I'm Jason Bourne.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't you feel like you're like a secret agent?
Nah, it feels like when you listen, like you're really, really gonna learn something.
You are gonna learn something.
You know, so we're gonna be talking about the Sparks.
Yeah.
They won tonight.
Yes.
Beat the living daylights out of the Fever.
Yes, they did, and they did most of it in the last 24 minutes or so in the game, too.
I think I literally remember tweeting. I tweeted, if they could push this lead to 10 by halftime, that'd probably be it.
You told me that.
Yeah, because I was just looking at it, and I'm like, they're not, like, Indiana just, I hate to say it, but just isn't talented enough. Like, they just aren't, and what they had, I mean, they had pretty much a full roster, but I just see
it
just
was 43 to 31 at halftime.
Yeah, I just see like a lack of talent when it comes to Indiana. So I knew that if they could just push the lead to 10 by the half, come out, get 2 buckets, and that's why they pushed it to, I think, 11 at the half. If I'm not 11, right?
Right.
11 at the half,
yeah.
And then I think they came out and got like 3 straight buckets.
Well, 12, 43, 31.
12, because they had 6. They had those 2 threes back to back.
Because it's a lack of talent with the Fever, but it's also a lack of 3-point shooting. And you and I, we often talk about, if you're playing against the Sparks, you know that they are an interior defensive focused team. So you need to find opportunities to shoot threes and try to make as many as you can. And that's the game plan against the Sparks.
And I think the opportunities were there. Like, I was watching and I'm like, okay, this person's open, but they just weren't making the right reads and seeing them until it was they were up 30. We're down 30 in the fourth quarter.
But you honestly, you have to give most of the credit for that to the Sparks, though. Because that defense they were playing, that was suffocating defense. It was TRP, Beard, Raquana. I forgot what type of defender Raquana was because I missed her for those 10 games. She's a pesky defender. She's basically the shortest person on the court. She's always going to be up under you. She's very strong. So... that's a tough person to go against.
If I had to make an NBA comparison for her, I would say Patrick Beverly. Because, like, she's a person where
that's high praise.
Like, I don't look forward to her guarding me. Like, I don't think that, she's never going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I don't think she's the best defender on the team. But she is extremely, extremely irritating. Yes. Because she's going to be upping you. She's like upping you on the perimeter. And she plays tough. She plays physical. Even if I have to set a screen against Raquana.
Right. I
don't necessarily want to do that because I'm gonna feel that she ran into me. Like I would think that was
a strong player.
Like that was a play earlier in the season in which I think I forget what game it was, but it just stood out to me. Where one time she goes to a screen, takes a screen in like the ribs or whatever. Like, it hurts.
Okay, I remember.
Next screen, like next time she goes in, and literally tries to run like the girl over. But like that's what you need because next time it's like, oh, you know what? Let me think twice about how I want to set this screen on her because I know she's just not going to take any kind of treatment from me.
Right. And you know what was good about her performance? It wasn't necessarily her shooting percentage from the field or from 3, but it was the fact that she was one of the leading rebounders and she had assists and she played defense.
Yeah, and Fish alluded to that. He said that he wanted his guards to do a better job of rebounding, which I think that now that you have 12 people, your guards can do a better job of rebounding. Like Chelsea can go out there and decide to get what was it, 4 rebounds in 25 minutes because she's playing 25 minutes. When you out there playing 39, 40 minutes, I'm sorry. Like I mean, I know she gives maximum effort at all times, but people like this ain't 2K. Like nobody has 99 stamina.
Right. At
a certain point in time, like bro, y'all got to get that.
How do you feel about having all 12 players back for the first game? This is the 27th game of the season. They're 17-10. It's the first time they had all 12 players.
I think it speaks to the.
You clinched the playoffs. First time you have all 12.
I think it speaks to the job Fish has done this year. I think he's done it. I know people were down on him at the beginning of the season, like, yo, just give it some time. Like, it's a whole new system. And I think he's installing something new in these women that maybe they weren't used to. And also the thing that looked great to me was, not great, I think Sunday will be the real test. Obviously, Connecticut is a much better team than what Indiana is. But I didn't see them look really out of sorts.
What was nice about this game is that I'm circling them for 26 assists against the Fever, but it was even across the board. I mean, Parker had 5, Williams had 3, Gray had 4, Jones had 3, Weiss had 2, Nneka Oguwmike had 3.
Yeah.
Shanae even had 1. Like, everybody passed. Everybody shared the ball.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do if you want to have a positionless basketball system. Now, granted, they still have positions because Shanae is still one of the tallest players on the court. And Shanae hasn't necessarily developed a three-point shot yet.
Yeah, but she can still stretch out.
She can stretch out, shoot that mid-range jumper. So you have a player like that, and you have a player like Kalani Brown, who you know are post players. But about everybody else on this team,
See,
they can play any position.
See, the thing with position basketball, I think the term is a little bit overrated because I think people get to thinking that people legit don't have positions anymore. But what it means is you have players who can interchange multiple positions on each possession.
I have a better term for it.
What's up?
Instead of calling it positionless basketball, I would say we should call it position fluid basketball.
That's a much better term. Because positionless has people thinking that literally people run on the court with no type of title and just do whatever. Right. It's like, no. Like, if you want to bring it to the Warriors, right? The Warriors just have people who can, like, Steph can go from the 1 to the 2 on each possession. Clay can probably go from the 2 to the 4 sometimes. KD, when he was there, could go from, honestly, sometimes all 5.
1 to the 5.
1 to the 5. Draymond, 1 to the 5.
Yeah.
Like, Nneka can go probably, I want to say, 3 to the 5. Candace can...
1
honestly,
to the 5.
1 to the 5, play all 5. Chelsea can probably, I think, play 1 and the 2. I think even TRP can sometimes go from 1 to the 3.
Yep.
Sydney can go from the 1 to the 3. So you have people who can interchange things on different or interchange positions on the same play. So like, yeah, I may come up the court being a point guard, but now I pass the ball and now I'm the shooting guard because I'm coming off a pin down. So, but again, I think tonight, obviously, why you see so many assists is you get a 10-point lead and then you just passing the ball all around. It's like, yo, I'm out there having fun.
Right.
I think the real test will be on Sunday. Connecticut is a much better basketball team. Right. I can promise you, if they win the game, it won't be by 30. If they win by 30, I will be shocked and floored. But I can promise you, if they win the game, it won't be by 30.
You know, Connecticut did get run that one game against the Lynx, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They got like...
Nah, I mean, they've had their
when
losing
Connecticut
streaks.
Loses, they can lose pretty bad. But I agree with you. No, don't expect it to be a 30-point game. And honestly, nor would you really want that because that's not a realistic expectation or that's not a realistic showing of the Connecticut Sun. If you're looking at the Connecticut Sun as a possible team that you may end up facing if you make it to the semifinals or the finals, somehow it works out. Yeah.
You want to accurate, like
you want their best shot.
You want something that, you know, when I'm fishing on the coaching staff, that when I put on tape, it's like, okay, I know what they're gonna do. Right. You don't want one of those games where it's like, I mean, everybody out by the third quarter, half the team, like, or you know, we doing things that we can't replicate because we just got all the momentum.
Now, granted, we talked to Coach Fisher and I talked to him about managing the minutes. And he was glad to give Gray, Parker, Nneka, TRP.
I was glad.
I was too.
I was whole third quarter. I'm like, yo, take out the game. Take out the game. Take out the game. Watch you in the game. Take out the game. Take out the game. As soon as she took that, like, the charge she took, I was like, yo, I so respect you taking that charge.
Right.
But why did you just take that charge? I 100% respect
because she's a basketball player.
Yeah.
She has to take that charge.
Yeah.
But...
I knew she was going to take it. I'm like, she's definitely about to take the charge.
And I talked to her about it after the game, too. And she said that she enjoyed being on the bench cheering on her teammates because that's something she rarely gets to do. Yeah. It's a 40-minute game, and we've seen her play as high as 39.4
minutes.
We've seen 38 minutes often. We've seen 36, 35. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I have seen in person a game where Chelsea Gray has played less than 30 minutes. And this was 25 minutes and 20 seconds.
I haven't. Even in the blowout, she played more than 20. I mean, I really like the Washington Mystics game. I'm sure she played.
Right. If you just go back to the Lynx game, they were up by 30 in that game.
She's still in the game.
She played 35 minutes and 38 seconds.
Because they couldn't hold the lead. But also, I think this win was also great because you got to keep people engaged.
Right.
And with everybody coming back, it was great to see Marina get on the court. I mean, Alexis, she's still, I mean, like coming off that game she just had against Minnesota, but then Raquana comes back. That shaves some of her minutes down, but it's great to still get her on the court and keep her engaged, as well as Kalani, as well as Maria, as well as all of them.
But to be honest, the way Kalani really got in the game is because Maria Vadiva got popped in the head.
However, you got to stay engaged.
Exactly.
Because look, you never know. Somebody tweak an ankle, somebody fall the wrong way. Now they out for a couple possessions. You got to keep people engaged and keep them in getting game action, and just keep. And I mean, especially for the young players. because you done played, pretty much the whole year. Some of the vets come back, and it's like you gotta take that back seat. You don't want them to get lost in the shuffle and just kind of be out there like, whatever. You want them to get on the court, get some reps, get some game action.
But I will give the Sparks coaching staff credit because I often see them giving those players individual work. Mm-hmm. Everybody who you consider a second unit player gets individual work. Yeah. Shanae, Weiss, Vadiva, Brown, Jones, Mabry, all of them, all of the vets. I mean, Lena Beard, she don't need it. That's a master basketball player. She's a technician. Yeah.
She knows what she's doing. She's been out here 16 years.
Right. She's seen everything on the court. Yeah. And with her, it's about keeping her healthy.
Keeping her healthy and just keeping her conditioned. Mm-hmm. Which is why you play her in, when, maybe, even like Raquana, they threw in the game in the full court. It's just about keeping her conditioned and just, you ain't played in, what was it, 39 days, they said? Right. I didn't know it was 39 days. It was a long time. Such a long time. But anyway.
It felt shorter.
It did feel like it didn't, the 10-game suspension didn't feel it felt like 5. Now, granted, that may be because, we don't travel with them on the road, so we didn't see all 10 in person, but it felt more like 5.
That's true. No, I agree with that. Another player that I really liked, I liked what Shanae did tonight.
Oh, yeah, this was the best game I've seen her play in, 2 months. Mm-hmm.
She came out aggressive. That was the thing. I had her down for early in the game. I'm like, this might be Shanae's night. Mm-hmm. That's what I tweeted because I could see that focus and I could see that inside game working because she is still an inside player at this point. So, and that's something you really don't see that much in the WNBA anymore.
Something you'll see in basketball anymore.
Each team,
in basketball
each
anymore.
Team probably has maybe one legit post player nowadays.
In basketball, not just WNBA. I'm talking about in basketball. And usually that post player is the first big off the bench.
Right. So the fact that she was able to get it going and to make some buckets because we see her before the game, we see her practicing those shots. That's the thing I love about Shanae is that when she practices before the game, she does shoot around, she practices game shots. There's no, I'm just going to stand there and shoot corner threes because I feel like warming up.
Yeah, but you never going to.
None of that extra stuff that she's not going to do in the game. Yeah. And the other thing I like about Shanae, and she did have one turnover, kind of one fumble in the game, but I love the way she looks the ball into her hands. She's a very fundamentally sound player.
People don't realize how the depth of a big man or big woman is bad hands.
Right.
People really don't realize that. If you can't catch, I can't even throw you the ball.
Right.
I
can't trust you to throw you the ball, especially on this team with everybody trying to do no-look passes, everybody trying to be a point guard.
I was watching the Magic Johnson compilation the other day, and I'm like, man, Magic threw some crazy passes, but his teammates caught them all. Right. you got to.
Well, you saw the compilation, so you saw the good ones.
Yeah, the good ones.
You ain't see the bad ones.
It's the bad ones, but still, his teammates caught him. Even with Chelsea, she throws amazing passes, but your teammates got to be connected with you. Now, I will say this: I would wish sometimes they would just make the simple basketball play, because I don't want them to get in the playoffs and it's become something that's so ingrained in them. Like when Steph did the behind the back pass in game 7 of the finals, it's you've been doing that all season. Right. But at that point in time, you didn't need to do that. I would like to see them sometimes just make Sydney had a play today where she tried to behind the head pass. It's I feel you, but no.
Yeah, but no.
No, at this moment in time, no. So I still don't. I just want to ask Fish
But you don't want to take the joy away.
You don't want to take the joy away. You don't.
So there's that
a fine line that you.
There's that balance. You don't want to take the joy away, but then you look at some of those passes and you just shake your head. Or you squint. You're like,
in the half
it
court,
hurts you. Like it's like somebody screeching on a board.
In the half court, I don't think you need some of those. Mm-hmm. Now, if you in transition, do what you want to do, have fun. It's a show. 2-on-3 break, it's a show. Live your life. But when we try to run a set and we drive into the lane, I don't think not everybody needs to be throwing behind the head passes.
So what's your final assessment of a 17-10 Sparks clinching the playoffs?
Man, I think I started to say it even when they were 8-9. It's if this team gets healthy, I think they're one of the most dangerous teams in the league. I mean, I think that the only team you could have a discussion and say is better is Washington. Mm-hmm. Just even look at matchup, their offensive rating is I think 10 points higher than anybody in the league. I think they have a 108 offensive rating or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only team that you can maybe say is better. But I still think that they're a very, very dangerous team. Like, but again, as long as they can stay away from that single game elimination, because you don't want somebody to mess around and get hot and end up hitting like 6-7 threes on you, and you take an L. Right. But
right now it's looking like they will have to play in the second round unless some things really change. Mm-hmm. But if that's in mind, I know they have to play the Aces again.
I think they'll be fine against the Aces.
What I was going to say is, I think they really need to. If they're not going to have the second seed, they need to have the third seed. Yeah. You want to avoid the Mystics as long as possible. Because you know what? There's a possibility that if the Aces get the Mystics, they might beat them in a series. Who knows? Yeah. Like, you don't want to be the one to have to try to take them out in the semifinals.
You want them to figure that out, and then you get the winner of that.
Right. If you get them in the finals, you get them in the finals. It's best of 5. But you don't want them early on.
You don't want them early on. I agree.
Not with the travel, because they're going to have home court. Yeah. So that means you're going to have to go over there.
And teams in the WNBA do not travel well. Mm-mm. They do not. Like, teams look completely different on the road.
No, that's exactly who the Sparks lost to in the playoffs last year. Yeah. They lost to the Mystics because they had to travel there after playing, I believe, Dallas in the first round. Yeah. They beat Dallas. Got blown out by the Mystics.
I mean, that's like, 1,000 miles you got to travel?
From here? No. Way more than that.
I mean, did they come back here? Or
I'm not sure. But the whole trip was thousands of miles in 3 days.
That and the fact you don't get no real practice time. I mean, like, there's no way you could practice. Right. How much film can you even watch at that point? But, I mean, my assessment is I think Coach Fisher needs real Coach of the Year consideration.
I agree.
When you look at everything and, all the obstacles, it being the first year, for you to be, 27 games in and just now have the actual roster that you thought you were going to have in training camp, and you to be in this position, I think he deserves some Coach of the Year consideration.
Right. We'll have to talk about that on another show. Yeah. Have to break that down. But no, I agree with you. I mean, you have to talk about him because, you can give it to the team with the best record, but
I don't think that's how you should define Coach of the Year.
There are some situations that can rise above just naturally having the best record with barely having anybody out, and your team is just cooking and flowing the whole time.
That's how but me personally, that's how I look at awards. Like, I don't think the awards always need to go to who was on the best, whatever. Mm-hmm. I think you gotta look at situation, like who had the most obstacles and who still prevailed through those obstacles. That's why I also think Nneka deserves some MVP consideration. Mm-hmm. Now I think Della or Don will probably win it, but Nneka should be second, and Nneka should get some first place votes.
I'm shaking my head, yes.
It shouldn't be one of those things where it's unanimous. No, she should get first place votes. For sure. When you look at the fact she's been out there pretty much every night besides Space Jam night. She's been out there
Space Jam 2.
Yes. Space Jam 2 night. She's pretty much
say 2.
She's basically giving you a double-double.
Yeah.
It would be 50, 40, 90 if I'm not mistaken, but she's shooting 80% from the line. Mm-hmm. So she's very efficient. Mm-hmm. I think you got to give her some real MVP consideration.
I mean, she had 5 steals.
Like 5 steals.
Who gets 5 steals in a game?
From the center position, basically.
Right.
From the center position.
Right.
That's like Hakeem type things.
Right. That's very respectable. But all right, I think we should get out of here for this first episode. That's been the Spark Report.
Spark Report.
So check us out. We'll be back with some more for the rest of the season.
We will.
Appreciate you, Pavy.
Of course. Appreciate you.
All right.
My brother.